What's up, people? We're back here for the game 2 of this series, in the Ultimate Series, round of 16 Solstice versus boy, I'm not even sure where that sentence was going. Ultimate Series Solstice, round of 16, game 2, between Temp Team on the Legion side and RFAM Ready for a Miracle, or Sweet Like Ice on the Hellborn. Not sure what they want to be called at this point. They seem to have undergone a name change between Diamond Cycle 9 and Diamond Cycle 10, so they're kind of in between right now, but certainly a pretty well-known team over here, as a couple players on the Legion side are also fairly well-known. ALG, Mini Beaver, and Side Cash are certainly names I've seen before. I don't know if the other two players are people that we have seen and we just don't know about it, or if they're just new guys, but regardless, they did have a very good game 1. Just about 19 minutes, I think, something like that on the CC, and they took it relatively quickly with a Doctor that just absolutely exploded. But bans are out here in game 2. Ophelia, Warbeast, Tempest, and Wretched Hag getting taken out, so a couple of junglers. The always awesome Suicide Warbeast and the very versatile Wretched Hag are all removed. Hag also actually had a really good game that first game as well, so apparently Hopgrot enough feeling like they want to pick the Hag and would prefer to just get rid of it. Scout and Pesty coming out so far here from Legion side, as Scout was not banned out for once, so we will see one of the most annoying heroes in Heroes of North, as that Scout was broken as all hell and finally got some nerfs, but in my opinion not enough. It is enough that we don't see him too much in the competitive scene anymore, but I think that's just because people are like, oh, he got nerfed, let's not play him anymore, and not that it's, oh, he actually got nerfed enough to make him not nearly as good. I just don't think a slight increase on the banish or whatever, and a little higher mana cost is that big a deal. But hey, that's my opinion. Hellborn are going to pick up Keeper of the Forest and Ravener so far, so 4 melee picks coming out. Parasite is potentially the only jungler left on the board, although we did see Temp Team running that Keeper jungle last game, so there's no reason why Hopgrata and the boys on Sweet Like Ice / Ready for a Miracle could not run that Keeper in the jungle. Legion side will not go to pick up that Parasite, so perhaps looking for a second support strat here. I'm not really a fan of that in general. I think in this situation, it's just, you always want to go with the jungler, man. Having that will be so helpful, and really with the lineup that they have now, with the Pesty in the mid, getting the Engineer is really nice. Pesty Engineer is a strong lane, but they didn't really need NG. There's Rhapsody on the board, they had Torture. There were options there in terms of support to pair with Pestilence. They could have picked up the Parasite and gone with a jungler and really had a more defensive short laner, and everything would have been fine. So that would have been a really strong team. Would have given them plenty of kill potential, plenty of late game potential, and I would have preferred to see the Parasite pick. Meanwhile, Hellborn have gone Keeper, Rav, and Kraken. So 2 strong teamfight ultimates there in Keeper and Kraken, locking people down so Rav can go to town and just basically destroy people while they're trapped in the root, or the release of Kraken, and that's a pretty nice combination right there, as sometimes melee heroes can have issues getting around each other, but with the portal keys on probably definitely Keeper, Kraken, maybe as Ravener as well, depending on whether we see him in that more initiator role or if he's going to carry. Often carry Ravs will go Dawnbringer first to get their farm up, and maybe eventually get a portal key, but it's more of a secondary item as the initiation is often taken care of for them. They don't have to deal with it. Regardless, certainly some strong synergy there, and definitely a couple of more mid-game oriented carries. Ravener can go late if he has really excessive GPM, and with the Dawnbringer early and some good mid-game play, you can really get into that 600 gold per minute range on Rav. We've seen it a couple of times. But nonetheless, I think Hellborn's a little bit stronger here just because their team fight's there. It seems like the late game is a little stronger on Legion with Scout and Pesty, but that doesn't mean Hellborn can't go late either if they get off to a pretty solid start. The push is also in their favor, and the gank is as well. Rav, Kraken, and Keeper also doing very well in that. Pesty and Scout are solid as well, but I think the portal keys here on Hellborn is going to increase their jump potential. Both sides have considerable amounts of invis, and of course the charge and ball lightning as well will allow them to initiate from some distance away on top of the portal keys that they already have. So I'm feeling like push, gank, and teamfight are all, and possibly late game. We'll see how Scout does, whether he's a suicide or a short laner. But late game very possibly in the hands of Hellborn as well, depending on how the mid game goes for them. Parasite actually makes it through the second banning stage as ALG takes out Slither Soul Reaper and Empath, so hopefully they'll pick Parasite now, because that would be a really strong pick here, I think, between Pesty, NG, Parasite, Scout. That's a ton of gank potential. Parasite will help get them through the late game to let Scout get that farm and turn into a carry, and if he does that, he will turn into the hardest carry in this game so far. So I think Parasite makes a ton of sense. It's going to be Cersei. So they're going to go for a dual support strat here. Presumably going to have a short laner that needs a babysit, as Cersei does that very well. NG Pesty in the mid scout suicide. So get something a little more vulnerable here in the short lane. Corrupt Disciple already taken. Soul Stealer is an option. Dark Lady is an option. Both of those I think would do very well in this type of situation. Hard carries that don't do great if they're left alone. Although TDL can do alright with the Hatchet that Taint Soul, but generally not a hero that you'd want to just leave in their solo short, I think. And we'll see what they choose to pick up. Meanwhile, the bans on Legion were Slither Soul Reaper and Empath, so one support getting taken out there is Moon Queen. So that's definitely going to be a Cersei Moon Queen combination. Very powerful as you make a bunch of illusions from that Moon Queen, and she can just push like crazy on that Cersei. And I expect MQ, Cersei bot, NG Pesty mid, Scout Suicide. I would be shocked if those were not the lanes. And they are very strong lanes. This is a really good team. The push got a little better with Moon Queen. I don't think it's still quite there. But the team fight is certainly there now with NG, Cersei, and Moon Queen. All those ultimates do very, very well in team fights. The gank potential is pretty solid. I think Hellborn still have a little bit of an advantage in that area, but they have the late game here on Legion now with the MQ Scout Pesty. That's really hard to out carry. It may be even impossible. It may be impossible to legitimately, reasonably pick up a lineup that has harder carries than that. So certainly looking to go late here on the Legion, and Hellborn not so much. They have lots of burst, they have lots of mid-game. Corrupted Disciple more of a mid-game carry. He can go late, certainly, especially if he gets going early on. It will allow him to transition and become more of an issue later on, but the Geometer's Bane from Moon Queen will prevent Corrupted Conduit from doing too much as she splits up and then it goes away. I believe it goes away after the Geometer's Bane. Nonetheless, CD will be a powerful hero, will be able to go late game. I didn't talk about the Hellborn bans at all. Repulsor, Pebbles, and Sandwraith, so nothing huge there. Sandwraith and Repulsor are the short laners, Pebbles the initiator. Interesting that they already had Pesty, feeling like they had to ban out Pebbles, but nonetheless, all those heroes are gone, and I do like this Hellborn lineup as well. Ravener and CD are heroes that they really appreciate it when the rest of their team locks the opponents down. And Keeper and Kraken are experts at locking heroes down. The Root, the Release the Kraken, the Charge, even the Keeper Dogs providing some blocking. That is great because CD provides essentially just damage. And he does provide a lot of damage, but it's not really in him to gank somebody and be able to chase them down because he doesn't have a stun, he doesn't have a slow, and he is pretty fast, but it takes him a while if they are not stopped to be able to catch them. So I'm liking the hero composition here on the Hellborn side. Some stuns from the secondary heroes that will set up solid potential from the actual damage dealers, namely Ravener and Kraken. And Ravener has a little more chase potential, but still not quite as much as you would expect. The ball lightning there, not that big a deal. Moonbeam going to go on to CD here, but he's just going to eat it, not really care too much. Legion side are grouped up as 4. On bot we have Scout hanging out in his own woods, so are we going to see a tri-lane here? It looks like we might see an aggressive tri-lane. I'm not an enormous fan of this, just because it's going to turn into a Pyro CD top with an aggressive tri-lane here from Legion. And yeah, they can do that, but I don't think they're going to get too many kills here. With 2 ranged, CD having some support in case he gets caught, plus Keeper free-farming the jungle to come out and gank as well. Pyro will be able to stun people so that they can't come up on the CD. CD is generally a little tankier than most carries in that short lane, and he should be able to get CS somewhat effectively. Already we see Ravener and Pyro in the middle, not a surprise. We expected that lane, but with the solo Pesty here, and once they realize this is the aggressive tri-lane, Pesty getting jumped on, I don't think it's going to be enough as he has the Impel, of course, so they need to use it. But they're pretty quickly realizing this is the aggressive tri-lane, and I think Pyro is going to rotate soon. Perhaps going to get Kraken an advantage in that middle lane and then turn it into... get Ravener an advantage in that middle lane and then turn it into a dual lane versus a tri-lane top, which the thing you have to consider is NG likes levels. He doesn't really need them. He really only needs his first 2 spells. Mines aren't that important. MQ really likes levels. There are a number of situations where she is solo laned, even in an environment when it might not be the best thing for her. Particularly you see a Suicide, a dual mid, a jungle, and a solo Moon Queen. She also does benefit from a babysit, certainly, because she has kill potential. But with the tri-lane here, she's going to level awfully slowly, and she wants all of her abilities as fast as possible. The faster she gets everything, the faster she's going to be able to go into the jungle and just destroy all her stuff. The Lunar Blessing, of course, giving her lots of damage as she goes on. The multi-strike is awfully important for her farming ability. That's her farming mechanism that turns her really high. And Immobilize plus the stun, and CD will be able to walk out of this as there is no turret, but lots of damage coming out from that. And I cannot imagine that... I can't believe Pyros hasn't rotated yet, but apparently choosing not to. And Moon Queen will basically have free farm up here, which is nice for her, but they have to win this lane pretty damn hard to account for the keeper jungle, and to account for the fact that Rav and Pesty is a relatively even lane mid that Ravender can certainly win. And at this point, he's at 296 compared to Pebbles. Actually, DD on Pyro, and that's going to be a bloodlust, as even the ball lightning miss doesn't matter. So side cash in middle falls. That's not a good thing. Adro picking up that last hit, and all of a sudden Pesty's at 123 gold per minute compared to Rab 350. Up top, CD's getting basically nothing, 150 gold per minute, as these supports are basically boxing him out. We'll miss the Immobilize there. MQ is obviously free farming, 252 gold per minute. On bot, actually, Scout's doing a little bit better at 300 GPM. And that Suicide Kraken down here actually should have a pretty solid time. It's going to be a little difficult for Scout to kill him, as he can certainly harass, but Kraken's just generally a really tanky hero. He still has a health pot, and with the charge, of course, it's not that big a deal for him to take some harass and then be able to run away. Splash auto attack obviously helping out with that, especially against melee heroes. Kraken is like, yeah, you're going to eat my splash damage. Pyromancer still sitting middle, as they're basically sacrificing this Corrupted Disciple. And I'm not a huge fan of this decision. Siege's level 2, both supports and Legion are still level 1, as they're getting basically nothing. Jump there as the Moonbeam, the Immobilize, and that, everything is going to get dropped here. No question, CD's dying. And LG on that Moon Queen gets the last hit. So we'll see what they choose to do, perhaps how they choose to rotate this, but it is in fact obviously going for in the way of the Legion up top at 340 gold per minute. But you look at the golden experience charts here, and because of how hard Rav is winning this bot lane, and because Catlo main on that Kraken on bot is not really getting destroyed, actually he is out farming Scout at this point, plus the keeper in the jungle means that Hellborn are effectively winning 3 out of 4 lanes. So CD is getting nothing right now. He's getting destroyed, 120 gold per minute, just about the same as the Pesty, in fact. And almost no experience, 137, well below everybody except for these two supports. And Immobilize missing once again. That is actually a really hard spell to land, so that's not the most amazing thing. Corrupted Conduit actually doing a lot of damage. And Immobilize will be back up in a couple of seconds. Moonbeam is there, looking for the keg stun as well. He's not available, not enough mana, but it's going to be enough, I think, with the last couple auto attacks. And Mini Beaver once again dies. So despite the 2 kills up there, things going pretty well in favor of the Hellborn at just under 1,000 in both resources, and most importantly, they're doing a lot to box out these heroes on bot and mid. Pesty getting just about nothing, and this is a hero that likes to have a really nice start because he wants the Portkey as soon as possible. The slower it is, the bigger a problem it's going to be for him to set up ganks and continue to snowball. They're also going to have to open up some space for him to farm, and they have a lot of farmers here on this Legion side, notably. With the Scout in the short lane, you would presume he would go for that Rune Cleaver, but probably not going to happen, especially considering how slow his farm currently is. And Moon Queen is basically going to soak up all the resources. It's not going to leave too much here for Pesty and Scout, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to transition well in this game into the mid game and into the late game if they don't get a good start, because the laning phase is really their opportunity to get a high GPM and get a bunch of items and turn that into hero kills so they don't have to farm the jungle, they don't have to farm the ancients because Moon Queen will take all of that for herself. And Scout and Pesty much more adept at farming heroes than Moon Queen is, so should see a transition on their part to the let's go gank everything. Hasted Pyro coming in here off to the side, puts a Dragonfire down, and the Dust actually does spot Scout. Does pop the eye, and he will run back to his tower with the Courier, so Hasted Pyro not going to be able to do too much, but does back that Scout off a little bit. These supports up here, both level 2. Should be concerned about that too. And the Hellborn, everybody's at least level 4. And there is some strong gank potential here between Kraken and Ravener. Plus, with the Keeper root, those heroes will die really fast. And Keeper is level 6 or 5, so he's going to have these level 6 soon, at which point he will grab the root and be able to lock down these two heroes. Perhaps going to kill if Corrupted is with him. Kraken get the lane control on bot once again, continuing to farm pretty well, continuing to outfarm the Scout as we look at the GPM charge. MQ, no surprise, 380 leads the game. And she's basically had uncontested farm up here with Corrupted being able to do very little about her CS. Will lose lane control a little bit here. And CD should grab some levels and a couple of creep kills, which will be nice for him, as he absolutely needs farm. Level 7 on MQ, level 7 on Scout, 6 on Pesty. Man, these supports are really suffering on levels. And this is going to become an issue because Cersei wants levels. Engineer does too, not as much, but he definitely does want those levels. Keeper in middle is level 6. Meanwhile on bot, Kraken actually taking down Scout. He drops the release the Kraken, and the torrent enough to kill him. So Scout clearly mismanaging that. Ravener jumps over here onto Pestilence plus the root. Impale goes down, but not enough to stop the Dragon Flame, and that would be a kill on Pestilence. This mid tower also going to be pressured, as Keeper comes out of the jungle at level 6, puts a root down, gets a kill, and should now get a tower kill as well. Cersei coming in here trying to do something about it, puts the dust out, so if she goes invis, it's not going to make a difference. We'll just choose to back off, and this is going to be a tower kill here for the Hellborn. So not only do they get a kill, they get a tower kill on the most valuable tower probably in the game, that middle tower. So once again, things looking good here for Hellborn. Certainly much better than they did last game. 3.5k gold, 2.5k experience. Legion do have the late game, so this is an important start for them because it's an important start, and it's important to continue this because if this starts slipping away from them, it can start slipping really, really fast. Any team, anybody that's ever played against a Moon Queen knows exactly what I'm talking about because you give that Moon Queen a little too much space. Not even a lot. You don't like just feed yourself to her. It's you don't. If you don't play aggressive enough against her, like that's the thing, is Moon Queen forces you into a certain playstyle that is constant aggression, constantly hunting that jungle, constantly putting wards down to make sure that you shut down her farm, because if you don't, even if you play well, she will kill you. That's just what she does. She farms so fast, she scales so well, that she just turns into this hero that you cannot deal with if you don't actively shut her down. It's not enough to, because you're not going to beat her on farm, that's the thing. A lot of carries is just like, okay, we're not going to address this carry, we're just going to outfarm her, and that's a viable strategy. It's pretty much not for Moon Queen, as once again Scout goes down to the release of Kraken. Jumps in over here, Kraken going to find him. They just, I don't know, that's lucky or what it is, but the Kraken ult plus the Torrent, and bam, he's dead. Torrent's level 3. Scout just not that tanky. Up top, root going down onto this Moon Queen, drops the ultimate, not going to be enough, and the Tide's going to finish her off. So, for our heroes up here, bringing the train to deal with the MQ, and definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. We'll also push this top tower. All in going out, not going to hit anything, obviously, as there are no Hellborn or Legion heroes. So Hellborn being much more active than they were this late game, realizing they have a lead and trying to capitalize on it, trying to address this Moon Queen on bot once again. Kraken doing something. Level 3 Cersei is just, what can you do? What are you going to do, Cersei? Level 4 Torrent, level 4 Splash, level 1 Charge. Cersei going to get caught again. There's the Torrent, takes the Immobilize. Not a lot of mana here, and Kraken's just going to look to kill her. 2 ports coming in, though. Now Kraken wants to get the hell out of here. And looks like he will do so. MQ and Engineer both coming down, and MQ will now take the bot farm. Top tower, meanwhile, dies as well as the Hellboarder just pushing this down, forcing the Legion to react. There's nothing you can do against Moon Queen is just push her down. Trap her inside of her base, make sure she can't get out to farm. And if you can outpush her, because she doesn't start out as a very strong pusher, before the multi-strike really gets going, she's not doing all that well. In this early game thing, with Keeper going, I've got dogs, I'm going to push. And Legion are a little too slow to respond to it. They're going to lose a base tower here. There goes the Glyph. Scout Ultimate coming off will not actually do anything as he cancels it, but this is definitely a tower kill. Looking for the deny. Not going to happen. Impale does not hit. So Hellborn pushed down 3 towers, and now 12 minutes in, they've taken a base tower. They are really far up. 9.5k gold, 5k experience. Kraken's transition to the mid lane. MQ's looking for farm somewhere. 326 gold per minute. Not the best, especially considering they pretty much destroyed that CD up top, and now actually CD's farming as well as MQ is almost. And 3 other heroes on this Hellborn side out farming her, in fact. Obviously Tower Gold helping a lot with that, but money is money. Scout and Pesty both getting massively shut down in their lanes, and obviously paying the price for not winning those lanes. Off to the side, Ancients will be stolen. They are double stacked, I believe, yeah. So we'll be killed by 4 heroes here. On bot, we've got Keeper pushing down this lane. We'll take another tier 1 tower. That's going to be the last tier 1 tower here. 13 minutes into this game, and Legion have no more tier 1 towers. They're missing also 1 tier 2 and 1 tier 3. So we'll see if they continue this, but it looks like they will. Pyromancer and Rabbit are both heading bot. And Kraken hanging out middle, having some CS. There, figuring I'd rather just take these creeps. Invis Scout is running around and doing his job, scouting out the Hellborn team. And they're just going to keep pushing this down. With MQ and Cersei up top, this is going to be another tier 2 tower kill. Root is available, everything is available. Kraken's not here, but everything is available. Kegstone going out, just going to hit the illusion. Another port coming in, but it's still a dead tower. Who's it going to be? It is cancelled. That's probably a good decision. Ball landing off the side will hit Scout. They're going to put the root down here onto as many as possible. Not even going to do it yet, as Pyro ulti kills Scout in a second. Cersei, Engie, and Pesty off to the side, and they're going to push down the base once again. What is Legion going to do about this is the question. Because this is what you do against Moon Queen. You're like, okay, jump there by Rav, and Engie drops immediately, not even able to get anything off. He's near level 6. The root there on the release of Kraken, and Pesty's going to drop as well. MQ going to port in, but can't drop her ult because of the creep dogs. Actually faking it right there, but the Keeper minions and everything basically prevent her ult from doing anything. And what is she going to do in this situation? Takes the Torrent and the Ball Lightning. Now she's in a lot of trouble. Electric Tide comes out. One more auto attack is going to be enough to keep her from being able to dying, but Ravener does not fall, especially with the Nature Spell on them. That helps. Now they're going to start pushing racks. And we're 15 minutes into this game, and Legion are losing racks. There's nothing they can do about this.
A Legion barracks has been destroyed.
Cersei's trying to make illusions there to back people off, but he takes a Torrent and is like, okay, I'm out of here now. Electric Tide, if that had hit, that would have been a kill. So there's a melee racks there in favor of Hellborn, and I'm not sure if there's anything that Legion can do about this. Ever. I mean, this is just... MQ has no room anymore. Pesty going to try to chase down this energized Corrupted, but will just choose to run away. Kraken has bugs on him, but not enough. In middle, meanwhile, Keeper once again pushing a tower. And we'll use the dog. Cersei, the only one here to oppose him. As I really think the aggressive trialing decision here was a bad one. Cersei would have done a very good job at zoning out that Kraken on bottom. Pesty and Angie would have made a strong lane in middle, and Scout could suicide very effectively against Corrupted Disciple. So Moon Queen would have had solid farm, in fact probably very good, pretty much free farm on bottom, essentially the same as she got. Pesty would have been able to do something in that top lane instead of completely just getting shut down and killed. And Scout might have done better, considering he dropped 2 deaths on bot to Kraken. I can't really imagine he would have done too much worse against the solo CE. So I'm really questioning the lane decisions here from Legion. They have a strong team, no doubt. ALG, meanwhile, in the middle, falling once again as he's running away, but the portal key on Ravener is enough. Plus the double damage, it's just bam, bam, bam. Ultimate actually went out there, but nothing doing. Now they're going to push down these top racks. ALG buys back on that Moon Queen. That's how desperate they are. Impel and Bugs onto Kraken, but 2 take the stun, including the Sorcery Lash. There's a release of Kraken, and Pesty just death. Kraken now going to take an ult from Scout, but he's a little too tanky. Nature's Veil there as well. Obviously no invis, but plenty of Moonbeam there on the Pyro. Going to try to do something. Jump by Ravener. There's a Ball Lightning and kill onto Engineer in a second. And there's the CC vote. So 2 really short games here as the Hellborn in each situation just absolutely trounced their team. And I think in this situation, both sides had a solid draft. I actually favor the Legion's draft a little bit more. I think their lanes were just bad. And Hellborn's lanes were rather predictable, but much, much better. And it's important to not only be unpredictable, but be good. So running unexpected lanes doesn't help you if the lanes suck. And that aggressive tri-lane with Moon Queen just does not, it did not work. Sadie played extremely conservatively, made sure he didn't feed, and they won the other 2 lanes, and the jungle lane just turned into a situation that they couldn't address because they realized can't let Moon Queen go late. You can't let this team go late with Scout and Pesty. So we're going to start aggressive early. We're going to push everything down, and we're going to win, and that's exactly what they do. So 1-1 here now as we take it on to a